1 o'clock, 3-man front. It has been a jam-packed first 3 hours. It all got started with our buddy, Blake Lovell. They're courtside at Bridgestone Arena. He's watching Florida take apart the Kentucky Wildcats. It was close at one point. Now Florida up 37-27. Kentucky at the line, 33.4 remaining as they knock down that free throw. So now a 9-point advantage for the Gators. Number one seed in this tournament, of course, 25-6. What an incredible run they had to close out their 16-2 regular season. Meanwhile, down at Legacy Arena, we're at halftime, American Conference Championship quarterfinal. UAB leading the Charlotte 49ers 33-31. UAB, they did pick it up a little bit from the outside, and Charlotte was able to pick it up from the outside, but UAB getting it done with some defense and going to Kyron Lindsey Martin coming off the bench and scoring 10 points for the Blazers. Also Daniel Rivera with 7. So hopefully UAB can get off to a quick start in the second half. Pat, what are the tea leaves telling you from Legacy Arena? How was the green and gold report?
It was fantastic.
Did you feature Garrett Whitlock?
I did not.
Okay. All right.
I featured John Paul Head, outstanding former quarterback, baseball player for Vestavia Hills. He was named to the Baseball America National Team of the Week.
Very nice.
Baseball teams hosting Belmont this weekend. Softball teams in Wichita taking on the Shockers. Yeah. Beach volleyball teams out at Long Beach.
Yeah, they're so good.
Very good. Very good. So, yeah, we had a lot of big things. Speaking of the UAB game, Chance Westry, who was second-team All-American. Now, when I say All-American, that's All-American Conference, not All-American in the country. Anyway, he had 1 point in the first half. So, if you're looking for things that you get Westry to...
You're going to be in good shape if you're UAB. Get him going.
Yes. So we will keep you posted on what's going on around college basketball. Mike Rodak's going to join us at the bottom of the hour. So let's do some Pat Ponders as we wrap up the week here on 3-Man Front.
I want to know what you're thinking. Tell me what's on your mind.
It's time for Pat Ponders.
All right, question number 1. I need a percentage. Give me the percentage chance that the NCAA Selection Committee on Sunday is going to pit Auburn versus Miami of Ohio in the first 4. Percentage chance.
If Auburn gets, I'll say right now, if Auburn gets in, I think it's a 100% chance. But if you're asking chances right now, probably 30% or less.
I was going 25 to 30%.
I was going like 15 to 20.
Okay, so you think it's the least likely.
Yes.
Okay.
You got a chance, but
it's small.
if I was a betting man, I wouldn't feel great about.
No, 30% was liberal. That was high for me. I think Molly's probably dead on it.
If Oklahoma loses tonight, would you bump that up a little bit, or are you still in that?
A little bit.
A little bit?
Then I go back to my original range.
Okay.
I would not hold my breath if I was an Auburn.
What about you?
I don't think they are.
You were around there?
I go pretty low. I might go less than what Molly said. I would love to see it. I just don't think the chances of Auburn making it and them making it and them setting up that particular matchup is very small.
See, I'm with Landrum, though. If Auburn does get in, I do think that's the matchup that you get. They won't be able to resist it.
Yeah, if that ticket is punched, they're playing Miami of Ohio. I hope they do.
Will Bruce Pearl be? No, he'll be in the studio. I was going to say, is he going to be like on the front row cussing the refs out like he did in Nashville?
Getting after him.
What a bad look.
It wasn't great.
Get after him. Whatever. Enjoy his retirement.
Maybe they were teeing Bruce Pearl up as opposed to Stephen Pearl. Maybe on that particular time.
Maybe that was.
Maybe
but they had to
teed
say
up
Stephen
Bruce
because
Pearl.
Bruce was back
Yeah.
there. I mean, technically, he's part of the university, right?
No pun
so I
intended.
mean, he could still get. No pun intended. Does that still work since he's part of the university? He's on payroll.
I don't know.
Has Nick Saban ever stood up in his box at Bryant Denny and yelled down at the field, cussing the officials during an Alabama football game?
Not that I've seen, but he's definitely had some facial expressions that would insinuate he wished he could.
I want to kill you.
But yes, that's seen that a few times.
I was just curious.
Yeah, no, I haven't.
Oh,
Haven't heard that.
we don't get to see Coach Saban. We just get that one shot, and he's usually very dialed into the game.
Mhm.
I mean, we know that Coach Saban uses profanity during game day.
Yes, yeah.
Now, he has given spankings on the sideline.
It's just funny when you're sitting in the press box and you have the whole entourage in every game. It's the whole entourage, the security and everything. Him, Miss Terry, just because that's where you get to connect it to his suite. And
All right, speaking of Alabama football, FanDuel has updated their SEC win totals for 2026. Alabama is at 8.5 wins.
over.
Auburn is 6.5 wins. So as of today, which is a better bet in relation to those two teams? You could take the under or over on either one of those two bets, but which would it be? Would you take Alabama the over 8.5, under 8.5, Auburn above 6.5, or below 6.5?
This is no reflection on Alex Golish. I'll just go with what's happened the past, 5-6 seasons?
5 years, yeah.
Mhm.
So I'll go under 6.5.
I would go over for Alabama. If it was 9.5, I would not.
Okay.
You were
yeah,
very
yeah.
quick to
Yeah.
say over 8.5.
Yes,
8.5.
over 8.5 for
I would too.
8.5, that's this will come back to bite me. That's free money, in my opinion.
Mark that tape, Molly.
Okay, I'll write it down.
I've been on the record multiple times this offseason. I think they go 9-3, but
Lose to Florida State. Who else said lose to?
East Carolina, Kentucky. No, I think 9-3 is a good spot right now. 8.5, yeah, feel good about that.
I'm with you.
Feel good about that.
Bama's
also
going to
like
get
that.
9 wins.
Yeah,
Yeah.
10, I don't know, but 9, yeah.
Let me take a gander here since we're talking about it. Texas 9.5, Georgia 9.5, LSU 8.5, Texas A&M 8.5, Bama 8.5, Oklahoma and Ole Miss 7.5.
Whoa, Ole Miss 7.5.
Mm-hmm. Florida 6.5, Auburn 6.5, Mizzou 6.5, Tennessee 6.5, Vandy 6.5.
Florida. I'll take Florida over the 6.5.
Yeah, I'll take Tennessee
Yeah.
over the 6.5 too.
Kentucky 5.5, Carolina 5.5, State 4.5, Arkansas 4.5.
I think the most shocking out of all those is Ole Miss 7.5 for me.
Summerall will get that team 7 wins.
Who knows? Maybe they think the Mississippi Supreme Court will
Yeah, I guess that's
shoot him down.
Did you see that they're now suing for damages because he was potentially going to be the cover athlete for the college football video game this year, and now he cannot be because EA backed out of the deal because they didn't want to. So now they're just another footnote there on that lawsuit.
Yeah.
Mhm.
It's a lot of money he would make out of that, I'm sure.
I want to. Yeah.
I'm just glad Ryan Williams won't be on it again.
Question number 3. On this date in 1954, in a spring training game against the Pittsburgh Pirates down in Florida, Milwaukee Braves outfielder Bobby Thompson broke his right ankle while he was sliding into third base. The injury forced the Braves to call up a young 20-year-old rookie from Mobile, Alabama by the name of Hank Aaron. So today's an anniversary of Hank getting his opportunity with the Braves. So it made me think, what professional athlete, if you could go back in time, would you love to see play their first game as a pro?
This is easy. I'll come up with another one, but Michael Jordan.
It's a good one.
Mm-hmm.
Wilt Chamberlain. I'm kidding. If I actually had to pick one, it would be. I would love to go back and watch. I would want to see A-Rod's first game with the Mariners back when he was a shortstop because he was a better
I
shortstop.
thought you were gonna say LeBron.
He was a better shortstop than Jeter. No, I remember that. Not in person, but I remember that one.
Mhm.
But yeah, I'd go Alex Rodriguez back when he was a shortstop and not roided up, and he was still amazing.
Michael Jordan. Even with the Barons,
I was there.
I would love. Yeah.
I was there for that one.
Tiger Woods.
Oh, that's a
That's
great.
a good one.
That's a great one.
Yeah.
That's a really good one.
See where it all began.
I was thinking Andrew Jones, but that was just his first season when he hit the 2 home runs against the Yankees. That was not his first game. No, don't worry. I mean, you know how it ended.
No, yeah,
It's
no, I
fine.
know. Hey, he played for us for a little while.
I'm over it. Kind of.
You've gotten one in the last 5 years.
Yes.
It's been 17 for me.
All right, question number 4. We're going to stay on this date in history. On this date back in 2022. Do you remember this date back in 2022? Anything off the top of your head?
2022. This is when there was realignment of one conference
Oh, the alliance.
announcing the addition.
Huh.
I'm going to say, was this the date that maybe I feel like it was before that, but the alliance of
2022. If it was 2020, I was thinking it
Right.
would have been COVID shutdown.
yeah, I'll go the Pac-12 ACC Big Ten alliance. It was a joke.
Sure. I have no idea.
On this date back in 2022, Tom Brady unretired after a 40-day retirement. He plays one season and loses in the playoffs to the Dallas Cowboys. So here's the question. I'll give you some options. Do you think if Brady had it to do over again, which would he do? Retired for good after Tampa's Super Bowl win and not come back? Stayed with Tampa for that final year like he did? Or go to Miami as rumored as a player and a minority owner of the Dolphins? Those were the 3 options on the table if Tom Brady had to go back and do it again.
I think he still wants to play.
Mm-hmm.
If he could, I don't think he would change what he did.
Nope.
I think he would have stayed longer.
Yeah, I don't think he would. He does not strike me as the kind of guy that has. You can say what you want about his personal life and how that affected it, but I think that for him personally, he did what he wanted to do. I don't think he'd change that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
He doesn't strike me as the kind of I wish I'd rode off into the sunset like Peyton Manning did or something. I wanted to play. I played.
Wasn't that a fun time? We all thought he was done. And 40 days later, he changes his mind. The Bucs had already changed their head coach.
Wasn't that a Schefter and Tom Brady's dad deal? Something happened with tweets.
I think you're right. Yeah, because
When did he post the beach
that.
video? Was that when he actually retired the second time? When he was like, "Hey guys, I'm done."
I think that
Was that the beach
second.
video?
I think that
yeah,
was
I think
when
that
he
was
actually
when he was
retired.
officially done.
When did we get the picture of it was the Patriots that put it out, and it's Tom Brady in the Ugg boots in the tunnel
I don't remember that.
looking
remember
out
that.
onto the field. Oh, we talked about it for 2 hours. Tom Brady in Ugg boots.
Yeah.
Were you talking about like back in the day when he was advertising for them, or like when he retired?
No, this
is
was at the
retirement.
end.
This was like a
Oh,
black and white.
Mm-hmm. Walking in the tunnel. And
Walking in the tunnel, and you can see the field in the stadium.
And there's
there at
like a
Gillette.
puddle or something in the
and he had the
tunnel.
Yeah.
boots on in the picture. That's awesome.
But it
I
was
forgot.
the outline. You could make it out.
I got you. I forgot about that.
All right, final question of the
Gronk
week.
took the picture.
I'm sure he did.
This comes courtesy of BB. She writes, China recently slapped a 13% sales tax on condoms, birth control pills, and devices, hoping to boost its declining birth rates and offset the long-term impact of the aging population.
I
You
thought.
say it first.
I'm glad that we were thinking the same thing.
Oh,
I
yeah.
thought they were the complete opposite of that.
Mm-hmm.
I thought they were that. Yeah. My understanding was that they were trying to stop
Yes.
more children from being born.
I don't
Yes.
think anymore.
It wasn't of a certain sex.
Yes, that's what I understood at one point in time. I'm glad I wasn't the only one because I didn't want to say something and be like, "Oh, Conrad's crazy," but no, I thought that was a thing.
Well,
They didn't
maybe-
want that.
Can I
maybe-
finish the question now, or would you like to continue the debate on the Chinese reproductive system?
You can continue.
She writes, can you think of something we consume here in the United States that would create a more positive outcome if it carried a high sales or consumer tax. Her suggestion is higher taxes on fast food because maybe that would mean people would eat less fast food and better food for you.
It's a good one.
Yeah, fast food's good.
Because like alcohol or tobacco products.
Yeah.
Maybe
I was thinking alcohol.
be like
How about a social media tax?
That's great.
You go over
I
your
don't
screen
hate
hours.
that.
Sorry, you're gonna
You
get
gotta
hit with
pay.
it. You're gonna get hit with this.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't hate that.
I mean, it serves its purpose, but I think some people would say, yeah, it's
Probably go alcohol or tobacco.
Yeah, I think that's the easy one. Yeah, yeah. I don't think that'd go well here if you try to do the birth control and condom tax. I don't think people would be happy about that one.
what if you did that in the Olympic Village?
They'd still find a way. Those kids.
No, we'd have a lot of Olympians giving birth.
Is that a bad thing?
Eh.
I just, thinking about future generations of Olympians, that might not be bad.
I told you I wanted to see more Americans and Norwegians getting together.
See, what happens if you have like a luger and a skier, and then you have to, I don't know, do the skill sets like, do they
Or in
mesh well,
or in the tandem luge
Yeah.
that you love so much, you get two bottoms. You don't get a top. I think
Yes, perhaps.
with the whole China question and going back though, maybe they're looking at what we're doing militarily and going, you know what? Maybe we need to bulk up that army.
Was that a conspiracy or was that? I mean, I thought that was
No,
real.
I think that was real.
I thought that was
I don't
real.
think that was an urban legend.
I thought that was real.
Maybe not. I'll look it up.
Thank you. Please do.
That is today. Pat ponders here on Three Man Front the 5 questions that I give everyone each and every day here on this program. We've been keeping our eye on what's going on in basketball. Right now, Charlotte and UAB tied 41-41, 14:45 to go down at Legacy Arena. Mike Rodak will join the show at the bottom of the hour from Bama 247. All that straight ahead on Jocks. Looks like it's going to be a nail biter for the Blazers as they're taking on Charlotte down at the American quarterfinals at Legacy Arena. Right now, Charlotte's up 46-45, 12:31 to go in the second half. So winner of that game will move on to the semifinals tomorrow afternoon at 3 o'clock.
Well, Big Whiskey's is the place to catch all of the tournament action. They offer great food with plenty of big screens, a full menu with something to please everyone, and the most extensive bar in town. The outdoor patio and game area is great for families, so go see them in the Stadium Trace Village in Hoover or in Tattersall Park off of Highway 280. That's our friends at Big Whiskey's.
Meanwhile, in the Big Ten tournament up in Chicago, this one's a little bit closer than you thought it was going to be, but Michigan holds on to knock off Ohio State 71-67. So Michigan will advance on. Coming up later on this afternoon will be Wisconsin against Illinois. Molly's Nebraska Cornhuskers, they tip off at 5:30 tonight on the Big Ten Network as they take on the 18th ranked Purdue Boilermakers.
Let's go, Big Red.
Purdue is a 3.5-point favorite in that one.
Also, keeping you updated on UAB. UAB has gone back in front, 47-46 over Charlotte at Legacy, 12-13 remaining in the second half of that one. Alabama A&M and Prairie View A&M tied at 14 in the SWAC tournament semifinal taking place. So, text line is open, 205-834-9450. Bug Guy, who I'm taking it, he's an Auburn fan. He laid out the scenario, the outside chance for Auburn. Now he says, let's go Duquesne as they take on VCU later today. And then he adds, go Chris Beard. Thank you, Bug Guy. Howie says, thank y'all so much for updating the basketball scores. It's hard to work, listen to the show, and try to watch the games. Have a great weekend. See y'all Tuesday. Thank you, Howie. And Howie should let you know that your wife, Reba, is also at work, and she is listening to the show. Hello, Reba.
Oh, Reba. Hello.
Got to put a key ring on.
Working 9 to 5.
That is not
It's
Reba.
Dolly Parton, I
Oh,
know.
my
but they're
gosh.
It's Dolly Parton, I know, but they're at work.
Oh, yes, they are.
Yes, I know that's not Reba, Pat. Pat just gave me the worst stare I've ever seen in my life. I know that is Dolly Parton. Thank you.
Going back to BB's sometimes controversial questions. Japan limited you to one child, causing them to only want to have boys to carry on the family name. Now they realize the influx of men to women years later. But Molly, you had actually found something on, this was pertaining to China, correct?
Yes. So if I'm not mistaken, I think China ended their one-child policy about 10 years ago. Just over 10 years ago.
Okay. Thank you so much. Will said the monthly subscription to social media. He said, I would drop that today.
Well, you can have one if you want on Twitter, if you want the little blue check mark. But I feel like most people now, if you have the blue check mark, people just make fun of you for paying for Twitter. So
Pat asked a good question, one that provokes a lot of thought, as most of them do. One athlete you'd like to see play their first game professionally. Who would it be? Got some really good nominees here. Cigar Cowboy said he'd like to see the rookie game of Joe Willie Namath.
that'd be a good one.
Pistol Pete Maravich.
Another good one.
It's a very good one.
Another Pistol Pete. Michael says Andrew Jones, his 2 home runs World Series were the highest point of his career. It was at the point other Major League Baseball discovered he couldn't hit a curveball. I think he's a Hall of Famer.
Oh, he's a great baseball player. I remember, and this is, I guess, since I'm younger, I mean, I remember when Jason Hayward came up and all the hype there, and he had a great first game, hit a home run, and it was watch out for Jason Hayward. And, you know, not to say he had a bad career, but he was no Andrew Jones.
Going back to our weekly visit with Dimitri, this listener says, I went to my son's school play yesterday. I used Meat's count to 10 40 times tactic. It took a few more 10 counts to get her done. Thank you for that.
That's awesome.
Alan says Alexander Ovechkin.
It's a good one.
Mm-hmm.
Has he played for the Capitals his whole career? It's impressive if so.
Wyndham, thanks. I'm hoping that this is a texting error. Braves are licking tail in spring training. That will carry into the regular season? Question mark. I think kicking tail is what he meant. But I will go
Who
on
knows
to
what
say,
they're doing in their free time, Landon?
aside from that, I will say this. Pat and I have been subscribers to the theory that you don't want your team to be there at the top in your league standings at spring training.
Oh, gosh, no.
That's really good for me.
Yeah. Now, granted, the Braves are doing it without some of their folks, but everybody else is too. I don't know what that means, but yes, I've noticed that, and it's a little bit disturbing to me. It's all kind of falling in line with the narrative of you get Kim that gets hurt, Profar gets popped the second time. I wish they'd test him. I wish they'd go ahead and test him again and give him a lifetime ban. Joey
Man.
Wentz is out for the season with the ACL. You've got Swelly that's having that cleanup in the arm. Smith, Shawver, Waldrop, list goes on and on. Somebody else will get hurt that's meaningful here pretty soon. I know I'm pessimistic, but did you see last season?
So
Starting worse than last year did.
if Soroka has a great night tonight against the USA, which we hope he doesn't, maybe that you need another arm. There you go. Make a little deal.
All right, Pat, you want to listen to this one?
Mm-hmm.
Zeke with a good one. I figured Kami Conrad would want to see Yao Ming's first game.
That's a good one. That actually would have been fun. He was great.
It was.
That's good. That's
Mike says Gale Sayers, 22 touchdowns in his rookie season.
These are all great options.
Conrad, can you sing Fancy?
No,
Reba song?
no, I can't. I just know for whatever reason, my wife just for whatever reason cannot stand Reba, and she has made that clear to me throughout our entire relationship. So we do not listen to Reba in the Van Order household.
James says Dale Earnhardt's rookie season. (205-834-9450) is the text line, and we appreciate your interaction each and every day. We'll update you what's going on in Nashville, what's going on down the street from us as UAB is taking on Charlotte, trying to keep their season alive, and more. Three-man front continues.
It is 1:34 here on Jocks on this Tournament Friday, keeping you up to date on what's going on. Meanwhile, in Nashville, Florida, up big 47-32, 13:26 to go there. Meanwhile, down at Legacy Arena, 9:41 to go. Charlotte has a 3-point lead over the Blazers, 56-53 in the American Conference quarterfinals. Joining us now on the Higginbotham Hotline, he joins us every Friday on the show. We had football going on today. You got basketball going on tonight for Alabama. So Mike Rodak from Bama 247. Man, he's busy today, and he's joining us for a few minutes here on Three Man Front. Mike, I hope you're well.
I'm doing pretty well. How are you?
Doing good. All right, let's talk about, before we get into basketball, let's talk about football this morning because Kane Womack met with the media as wrapping up really the first week of spring practice. And obviously, we have not had an opportunity to hear or look through any of your reports. So if you'll just give us this all live on the air, what did Kane Womack have to say about spring and his defense?
Yeah, I mean, Kane's always very, I don't know what the right word is, but he's always able to not criticize himself, but be self-critical and be self-aware about his defense. I think he's always very tough on himself when he talks about his defense. Every single Monday press conference that we had last year, it was always, they could win the game, they could give up 7 points, it could be whatever. Like, he always had some points that he wanted to get better at. And that was kind of the theme today with him too, where it was talking about wanting to be more dominant as a defense. He said, turning on some of the tape of the old Alabama defenses, they thought that they could hit players pretty well last year, but they want to hit players even more this year. They want to create more negative plays. They want to do more of this, do more of that. So that's always kind of Kane's thinking, his mentality. Even again, after every single game, during the season and in the off season too, it's always like, how can we get better? What did we not do well enough last year? And so I think that was, a major theme of, what he was talking about today. But, with that said, they have a lot of players back. I think they're pretty happy about. When you talk about Yonze Pierre coming back and Bray Hubbard and Keon Sabb, those three guys staying out of the draft was pretty big. And I think he mentioned sometimes when you have a group of players at Alabama that decide to come back and they have a particular goal in mind, it works out well. So we'll have to see if that's the case here. But, I think the general vibe, if you will, is that they're pretty, they feel pretty good about the secondary. The secondary, you have a lot of players returning. You have a lot of talent coming in as far as the freshman class. The front seven is where you're trying to replace more. And I think Kane likes certainly what they brought in along the defensive line in Devin Tompkins and Terrence Green, probably, in particular. And then it's kind of the inside linebacker spot where they've known for a while they're going to lose a bunch of experience there with Deontay Lawson and Kaiho Green and Justin Jefferson. It's really a question of how does that come along. I think it's probably the biggest question mark for this defense as a whole is the inside linebacker spot.
Mike, on the offensive side of the ball, Ryan Grubb talking about his quarterbacks. He's very complimentary of both Austin Mack and Keelan Russell. But I was just trying to break down and read through the tea leaves, and maybe I'm just reading too much. But heck, it's March, and we can talk about this stuff. Keelan Russell, Austin Mack, very complimentary. He said both Austin being in the system for 3 years. Keelan Russell, though, that has not been anything that's limited him. He's a very cerebral, smart kid. But then he goes on to talk about accuracy, and both need to improve on their accuracy. No surprise there. But it was a comment about Keelan Russell and his feet and his ability to be mobile and kind of changing things. Could that end up, if things continue, could that end up being the deciding factor in this?
Yeah, I mean, I think there's certainly more athleticism that you can use out of Keelan Russell than Austin Mack. Mack is, bigger guy, taller guy, not as mobile. You're probably relying more on your arm if you're Austin Mack. And I think Grubb mentioned that, when Mack played in the Rose Bowl, there were a few plays where he got outside the pocket and ran a little bit. But I'd say compared to Ty Simpson, that's probably less of Mack's game. And then obviously from Ty to Jalen Milroe, that was even less. So you're kind of going in a certain direction if you stay with Austin Mack, where you're probably turning more into a pocket passing offense. I think Keelan Russell, in theory, kind of opens it up a little bit more because he does have kind of the ability to get outside the pocket and make plays on the run. Just a really, we saw him a little bit last year, just a really quick release. I think that's one of the things that really stands out watching him, and just the ability to kind of find that hole in defense, find that opening to throw the ball, and kind of shift left and right. Like you can see some of that already when he's played. So, I think you obviously have the higher upside player in Keelan Russell. I think everybody knows that. It's a question of when does that upside turn into production on the field that you can rely upon versus having Austin Mack and his experience in the system and him being a little bit older. At what point do those lines intersect? I think is still the question.
Mike Rodak from Batman 247 joins us here on Three Man Front. Staying on the football theme for another question or so, wanted to ask you about Grubb's comments in regards to the offensive line, especially at left tackle. Kind of struck some people by surprise by his declaration that it appears that the left tackle position is already done. There's no competition, right?
Yeah, I mean it's one of those things. It's not coach speak. I think if the same question was posed to Kalen DeBoer, he probably would have said there's competition everywhere all the time or some variation of that. Ryan Grubb's not really a coach speak guy, and I respect that. I appreciate that. Our business, we like guys who are straight shooters and honest, and Grubb certainly falls into that category where he's not going to BS you if there's not something there. So I think at the end of the day, they like Jackson Lloyd. Like they went out and got him as a freshman last year. He has great measurables in terms of his height and length, and he played another sport in high school. They love that. So there's athletic ability there. And we saw a little bit of him last year. Like he would be the guy that came in when Caden Proctor was out doing whatever in the crispy package. And there were some other times late in games where Jackson Lloyd played as well. But you lose Proctor, you don't really have another option that's obvious. And I think that's the other part of this. It's like if Ryan Grubb had a bunch of good options to start at left tackle, I don't know if he would have said that yesterday, but Jackson Lloyd is their guy because he needs to be their guy. I mean, the only other option right now is Javen James, who they got out of the portal from Mississippi State, and he might be more of a right tackle. We'll have to see how that comes along. Maybe you can move Carroll to guard. But right now it's Jackson Lloyd and a bunch of freshmen in terms of potential options at left tackle. So, there's part of it that's just out of necessity. But I think they like where Jackson Lloyd is, a year plus into the system now, and they're kind of betting on his potential.
Speaking of coaches, to switch to basketball, Nate Oates, Crimson Tide. We'll see them for the first time coming up tonight as they take on Chris Beard and Ole Miss, a team that they beat in Oxford in the regular season, Mike. But when you look at Alabama, it looks like for all intents and purposes that the seeding is locked up and they're going to have that 3 seed line. If you project out significance of the tournament, you want to be playing well now, but then you have to travel. The postseason and the NCAA tournament's more important. How do you think Nate Oates, maybe the Tide faithful that is subscribed to your publication, how are they treating this game? Is this one that you're white knuckled on, hoping you see your best Bama basketball, or is this, I hate to say it, a throwaway game?
No, I think there's still some question as far as their seeding, for the tournament, and it's bounced around a little bit. Obviously, Lenardi is kind of the primary bracketologist, if you will, and even his exact seeding, like we're talking, seeding 1 through 16 or 1 through 20, that's bounced around for Alabama. So right now they're number 12, which is the last 3 seed. And there's a lot of other websites that do this that have Alabama as a 4 seed. And so you have the bracketmatrix.com website, which does a good job of compiling all this and kind of making a composite rating. Alabama is actually a composite number 4 seed right now, the top one. If you look at all of these brackets nationally. So I think there is a little bit of question. You look at the teams around them, Purdue and Gonzaga are 2 that are kind of right there with them. Well, both of those teams beat you this year. So if there's a head-to-head comparison happening in the committee room, there is a data point there that's not in Alabama's favor. But, Purdue's still playing. They have a big game against Nebraska. Kansas is still kind of in that 4 seed range. You have to watch them. You have to watch a couple other. Gonzaga's already beaten Santa Clara for the conference title, but there's a few teams in that 3-4 seed range that can move up or down, kind of based on these next couple of days. And Alabama, I don't think can afford to just go out and lose to Ole Miss tonight and still say that we're a 3 seed. So, it's still a big game in that sense. And at the end of the day, I think Nate Oates wants to win a conference tournament. Like, he's very competitive about winning every single thing that they're in. They haven't won the regular season of the SEC in 3 years now. They haven't won the tournament of the SEC in 3 years now. And that was something that they did twice in 3 years early on in his tenure. So, I think there's definitely a lot to play for, definitely a lot on the line. And if you do happen to get into a scenario where you're playing Florida on Sunday, you don't want to lose to Florida 6 times in a row and have Todd Golden beat up on you again. So I think there is a lot of pride on the line, and certainly seeding-wise, I think there is still something to play for.
If you were in the committee room, let's have a little controversy here on Sports Talk Radio.
Yeah.
We like to do that at times. If Mike Rodak's in the room, are you voting for Oklahoma over Auburn or Auburn over Oklahoma, or you leave both of them out?
Ooh, I would probably go Oklahoma just because I feel like how are you for me lately is kind of a data point for me. Like, I think that's important. Like, how are you playing right now?
You think rationally like a human being.
And by the way, me and Landrum agree with that. I was just wanting to see if you had the same thought process.
I would go Oklahoma. And look, if you told me they went out and beat Arkansas tonight, I don't think that would be crazy. It would be, I guess, helpful for Alabama if they could play Oklahoma tomorrow and not Arkansas. But I think a decent showing from Oklahoma tonight will put them in a better spot.
All right, you're a Providence College alum. You, Billy Donovan, and God Shamgod. Have you been contacted potentially about who is going to replace Kim English as their head coach? Because I'm hearing Porter Moser.
I have. Brian Hodgson actually is one of the names that seems to be coming up. The former, it's funny, like how many connections that the two of us have. He was in Buffalo, as a Nate Oates assistant, and then came down here to Alabama, and he's been to Arkansas State and now South Florida, and he's one of the main names that's being mentioned at Providence, and that's a school where basketball is number one. So it'd be interesting if he has the ability to choose between a job like Providence and then maybe Syracuse, I think is another one that he's being talked about. Both of those are very basketball fervent schools, and I don't know where the money is for each school, but I think it would be a pretty good spot in either case for him.
That is Mike Rodak, joins us every Friday. Enjoy Nashville, and we'll talk to you next week.
You got it, guys. Thank you.
Thank you so much. That's Mike Rodak. Joined us on the Higginbotham Hotline. You deserve solutions that are built for you. Higginbotham is your one-source solution for insurance, financial, and HR services.
And as we're talking to Mike about that, Herb Sendek potentially going to be named there at Providence while Santa Clara's AD. Heather Owen is saying that they're trying to work on a deal, or they were just a couple of days ago. But we'll await that announcement. There's going to be more vacancies around college basketball, but it was interesting what Blake Lovell had to say when he joined us. It does look like there's not going to be very much movement in the SEC, and a lot of these, imagine this, athletic departments don't want to pay $11 million to watch a basketball coach walk away. All coming to roost, isn't it? 3-man front. Three-man front, we continue. Kentucky trailing Florida in the quarterfinal in Nashville, the SEC tournament, 54-43, 9:49 remaining in the ball game there. Meanwhile, Legacy Arena, Charlotte, I don't know historically with what they're doing, Pat, shooting the ball in the second half, where that ranks as far as college basketball in general, but it's got to be pretty good.
Yeah, Charlotte is up 76-69 with 3:32 to go, but it's the story that you're going to see all over the place. Dezane Mingo for Charlotte, he has 33 points, but he has hit 8 3-pointers. He's 8 of 11. He has set an American Conference tournament record in made 3-pointers. And Charlotte, that has been their game, man. They have hit 13 on the afternoon, and they lead UAB by 7 with 3:08. But as Landrum mentioned, they have shot lights out in the second half. And matter of fact, this is weird. So they have hit 14 shots in a row. Charlotte has. And UAB has hit their last 6 shots in a row. So there have been 20 trips up and down the court in which both teams have converted. I have never seen that in a basketball game. One team 14 of 14, the other one 6 of 6.
That's crazy. There's still hope is still alive, but dwindling for the Blazers. And look, you tip your cap. That's an anomaly. You just don't see it. But hopefully they can pull it out.
He's 8 of 11 behind the 3-point arc for 33 points. Yep.
That is nasty. How about our friends at Prize Picks? Prize Picks, especially with the big tournament coming up next week, it is your daily fantasy sports app. It's America's #1 fantasy sports app, and you can join millions of users just like me, and it's really simple to play. You pick more or less on at least 2 player stats. If you get those picks right, you could cash in, and adding this, you get the March Madness Max discount. You get that discount, and it hits this Sunday, so be sure to check out the Prize Picks app. And Conrad, they have coming up next week also the Magic City Max discount. That's right, a special Magic City Max discount you can find to celebrate for the Hawks Magic game coming up on Monday.
Yes.
The one that you featured, the lemon pepper wings story.
That's right.
The worst thing that you had seen. But there's all kinds of different sorts, a variety of different sports across the board, professional and college. Tonight we're going college. Alabama taking on Ole Miss. LeBaron Filine, 22.5 points, more or less.
He's rested. Alabama wants that 3 seed. We're going more for Filine.
Meanwhile, for Ole Miss, Malik Dia, 15.5 points for the big guy.
Oh, that's tough. He's been great in the tournament, but he had 2 points when they played Alabama last time. So we'll go less. Decent game for him, but we're going less for Dia.
23 or more for Filine, 15 or less for Dia. If both of those come through, we're a winner. You can be a winner too. Download the Prize Picks app today. Use code WJOX. $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. That's code WJOX. $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. Prize Picks, it's good to be right.
So UAB is on an 8-0 run. They're down by 1, 76-75 with 2 minutes to go down at Legacy.
Let's go.
We said it was going to be a nail biter, and that's exactly what is happening. 76-75, 2:01 to go in the game. If you want to hear the conclusion of that game, you can pop over to our sister station, Jocks 2 100.5.
Well, there's going to be plenty to talk about on Monday, to say the least.
Yes, very much so.
Brackets will be set. Are we talking about Auburn and Miami of Ohio in a matchup in Dayton? Potentially. Alabama, where will they be heading? UAB? So much to talk about. Join us Monday. We'll have Reaction Monday. The phone lines, the text will be open to you. Also, Grant Leonard, the head coach of Queens College. They punched their ticket. We'll talk to him. He's going to join us at 10:30. Have a great weekend. God is great.